so-called dynamic objects. How do I manage a dynamic object? So mostly that will be our tomorrow's session. Today we will be completing the verification point as a whole. Is this clear? Any questions towards this? Please put it in the questionnaire. Fine. Perfect. So now we have done the simple thing. I'm just taking the basic code over here. Right? Detailed is combination of data, combination of all those are possible. Time restriction. So I keep it as an open item in the whatever the questions are. Whichever I'm not able to do it over here, I'll keep it as an open item. Make sure that I finish the class, whatever the topics we have decided, so that we go ahead and finish those missed topics as well. Fine. Now I'll go ahead with verification points. Feel free to ask your question. Now, what is verification point? Why we need to get into verification points? And how verification points are managed in the rational functional tester. Right? Now, I'm moving on to what is verification point. So verification points, as I said earlier, it is comparing expected versus actual. So verification points are nothing but comparing expected versus actual that is happening in the actual application under test. So this is what our test case is all about. Test case is all about I have an expected result, I compare with the expected result. If there is a mismatch, I will tend to fail. This is what the verification point is. So where and all I apply a verification point. We all know in manual testing, right? Verification point is mainly applied based on your logic or based on your test cases, based on the test conditions that we are trying to explore in the application. Right? So in this case, where I can put a verification point. There are several ways I can apply a verification point. One, I can apply it onto the data. One, I can apply it onto the data. Second, I can apply it onto the list content, whether the content of the list is it same or not. Right? I can apply it for an action, whether the action is performed in the way I am expecting that action to be performed. In all these cases, I can apply verification. Right? Now, how do I choose that? I am now going back to I'll generate a new script. There are two ways I can apply a verification point. During recording itself, I can apply a verification point. I can apply a verification point after the recording. After the event is over, come back to the script, I can apply a verification point. In all these possibilities, I can do a verification point. First, let me do a simple recording. Why I am repeating the recording, not trying to do it all in the same place, to make sure that you don't get confused. At the end of the session, that is after the 5 days, I will give all the scripts to you as well. All the script, entire project, I will try to import it and then I will try to hand over to you. So that this will be part of your, anytime you want to refer, you can refer that as well. So now, I go to the new script. I make that script as a verification point. Verification point is generally called here as I'll put it as VP. VP is generally the term used for verification point. So verification point. Right? I say next. So we are creating a all with the default. Now you see we are stuck with the base state problem. So make sure I pass the recording. If you want to keep the monitor open, display monitor, keep it open. I pass the recording now. I ensure that I maintain the base state. That is opening the application from my term for this script. Now you can see since I have passed, right, even I open the application, you can see the recording is not happened here. Right? These are all some of the normal mistakes we do when we are into functional testing. Make sure you resume the recording, then you open the application, select the application name. Okay, now you can see that's added. Right? So I can do verification through while I am recording the script. First is I want to know this place order button is enabled or not. That is also I can do and apply at the verification point. Right? I say first finish the recording. Let me apply it after the recording is over as we have initially discussed. Place order. I say okay. Right? I type in a username, card number here. You can see that the script is getting generated. I click on place order. After this, I want to make sure the related items is present. Place order is present, cancel is present, and all these are enabled when I am in this page. I want to make those as a verification point. And also I want to verify this 19, right? Whether this 19 is appeared or not. So when I change the quantity, I want to check whether it has become 39.98. Right? All this I like to verify. So I am doing now to 38.98. So I want to verify this kind of information as well. Of course, I can do all this verification. Let me say place order. And also I want to look for whether the order number is generated or not. So this will be the last part that we take, because here we come under the concept of dynamic. The verification is a partial verification, because I don't want to verify 24, because we all know this 24 is changing every time I write to recognize. I don't want to, so I need to ignore this 24. I want to know whether your order has been received, your order number is. Up to this I want to verify, I want to ignore this 24. So how to do that also we will see. Right? Can I retrieve this order number? Yes, I can. How do I do that? These are all the parts. We will see it as a subsequent, that is tomorrow's session. Today we will come up with the basic code. I have added, script is added. I go with close it. I stop my record. So verification can be in so many ways. I can do a verification. I close a old script so that the screen is clean. And accidentally we don't change it in some other place expecting that to work over here. Right. Now, we have come to this verification now. And I started the application. I now want to check before I click on place order. I like to check whether this place order button is there or not and it is enabled or not. Right? So, first is place your cursor where you want to add a line. Place your cursor where you want to insert with this. When you are doing a verification point, expected result, you should not do a place order check in some other location. I should place my event where exactly I like to do. For example, for your understanding purpose, I'll open an application here. Same classic Java. I'll open it now. What I'm trying to say is, when I like to test place order, this button I would like to check. I should not do it inside this page. Inside this page, I should not check whether place order button is available or not. That is what I'm trying to say here. And these are all the common mistakes as a tester we all do. Right? So it looks very uncommon, but this is where we do mistakes. Because this is where we expect that the script is failing or RFT is failing. So the place order needs to be checked under classic thinking window frame. So that is what I'm saying. Put your frame, place your cursor there. This is where I want to insert a line. So now I'm not going to record, or I'm going to record the script to the already existing recorded script. I'm adding a line because I don't know the syntax of how to add a verification point. So I'm adding the script to the existing script. That is where you can see now, insert recording into an active functional script. So I'm trying to add insert. So placing the cursor is very important because we have to tell where we like to add. That's perfect. So then what I want to do? I want to add verification point. You can see insert verification point or action command. Right? So I like to insert here. Now what you want to do? What you want to add? Verification point. So which is the object on which you want to apply the verification point? I like to apply it, use the hand symbol, left click, drag and drop, place it onto the button. What you want to do with that? Perform data verification, perform properties verification. So in my case, I like to do a properties verification. The property of that object, I like to test. What is the property of the object? In this case, enabled is the property of the object. I want to ensure this place order is enabled. So I put perform properties verification point. I say next. You can see another verification you have is image verification. So the data is for the list content. Properties is for the property of an object. We call it as attributes. All attributes can be checked using this properties verification. We have an image verification, which is comparing two images, like this image versus the same image is appearing or not. Or I want to check the layout of this classic CD is same or not. Let me finish one at a time. Let me finish now. Place order is enabled or not, which is nothing but a properties verification. When I select next, it is saying place order underscore standard. It's a verification name. You can rename it. Right? Standard means standard properties is checking. So if you want to put standard, you put it. Or you want to be very specific, you want to check the property enabled, because it will support multiple property checking as well. The place order name also I want to check. You can do it also. So it can be a single property checkpoint. It can be a multiple property checkpoint. Both are allowed. Next. Now you can see here, all the properties of the object are visible to the right. So all the properties of the object along with values are visible to your right. So if I go below, enabled, you can see now I like to check this enabled property. So this enabled is true or not is what I like to check. On which object? Classes JavaX string JButton. I'm not checking the class name. This is my expected result. What I'm doing it is creating an expected result now. I am now creating an expected result enabled true. This is the only thing I like to check. If you want to check the name property, that is place order, I can use the label. Label place order. right? So I can check the label of the button as well. So the name of the button is different internally, right? Label is what you want to check. You can check the label as well. So these are all the properties available. Ultimately, if I want to do a comparison, because when it is disabled or enabled, so when the place order is enabled or disabled, visually you might be seeing a difference over here. Ultimately, the difference is appearing because of this property. Otherwise, you will not see the difference. So I checked now enabled a node. I checked true value. I say finish. My job is done. I have created a verification point now. So I stopped my recording. That is why you can also do the recording, right, as you create. Now you can see the place order dot perform test. Place order underscore enabled is the name of the object. VP is suffix because you want to differentiate between the order name, object names. So these are all called logical names. So if you see to the right, this is what the object is. If I double click on that object, you can see now I came into this. I can change the verification points at the later stage. I can add the name property also. If you want to add, you can add. So verification point is customizable even after recording. So where I am placing that verification, I am placing it over here. So I stop my recording. Now I need to run the script. That's all. So this is now property verification point. Verifying whether this property of the place order, that is enabled property, is true or not. That is what I am checking. Let me run this. Let me see how it is working. Now I am doing a positive run. Right? I run the script. Now it is called positive run. Close the window because it is going to open the window. Now she is able to successfully run the script. No issues. Now you can see the report. In this report, you can see now verification point is passed. To the left hand side, I am putting my cursor. Place order underscore enable passed. Verification is passed. Absolutely no issue. Right? I am going to fail this verification. I like to fail this verification. That means change the expected result. I want this expected result to be failed. Open it. Go to the enable property. And in that enable property, change this enable property to false. It's a problem because it's only true or false is possible. So I made it to false. That means my expected result is false. Right? Since my expected result is false, let us see what happens to the verification point. I save it. Yes, verification point is saved. Run the script now. So I say next, finish. So now you see what happens when I run the script. So he is now testing with the enable. So he has come up with the result. Executed, he has come out with the result. Now you can see here, enable property is failed. It is failed. Verification is failed. The reason for the failure is because we all know that it is because we are expecting a wrong result there. We are checking for enable, but he has failed. That is on 37th line in my code. So it is failed because of that. That's perfect. I say okay. So I can, now it is continuously done. There is no problem in that, but you got the verification done. Right? I like to add now image verification form. So that means what I'm trying to say is the image that you see, is it the same image that we try to do? Right? That is image verification. Generally, when you are logging in, the landing page you want to test. See, what happens when I open it, I place my, this is the place I like to add that image. I open the application using configure window. I open the application. Now, I want to see generally the very difficult thing is the landing page. Whenever